How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have another episode of Backstage Press with Patchtown Films, and he can say his name, what he does, and all that good stuff.
What's up, y'all? I'm Eric Griffin. I'm a director at Patchtown Films, and we do video stuff. And I do a lot of other stuff besides video stuff, and I always have, and that's how I like it. That's the main help.
I'm gonna preface this with, again, if you're noticing a trend in a lot of these videos coming up, it's because there is a little bit of a trend. So Tyler, Jeff, and Eric all used to be in a band together. Tyler's interview is going out later. You'll probably see Jeff's interview first, followed up by this one. So they all used to be in a band together. It's just ironic that all three of them, literally in the same week, I interviewed them all in the same week. Evan, if you want to come on, then we can complete the.
Let's Seaburger on the phone right now.
Seaburger on the phone. He's gonna come on and do a guesties. But we've known each other for a couple years now, at least.
Yeah. I was trying to think when we met. It was probably like the first show.
Yeah, it was.
When I wasn't even in the band, I was just there.
You were just there to
support my homies.
I'm here to support the homies, but now I'm the bass player. So like,
and then like a week later, they're like, yeah, we need a bass player. All right, cool.
But I don't. Outside of that, I really feel like I don't know much else about like doing like the videography stuff, and I've seen like a lot of music videos that you've done for like other friends that have been on the channel before. So I guess my first question would be is like, how did you start out doing this videography like project and stuff like that? I feel like after moral support, everybody kind of like dissipated it and did their own things, which is awesome. And it just allows me to capitalize on all of you guys doing different things, and I can have you all back on. But I guess, how did it all start out, and like, you know, what was your kind of vision about doing this? Because I think it's really cool, and I know a lot of people are coming up and doing that sort of stuff, which is great. So like, you know, how did you start out, Eric?
A little bit of a weird and tough question, but
answer it all, my friend.
I'll try my best. I've always loved movies. When I was really young, I would, take my grandparents' camcorder and try and make movies and stuff like that, But like the first thing that I really like fell in love with was music. I started playing guitar at like age 10, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do music for my life. Took lessons, had bands, tried doing the whole thing. And then like towards the end of high school, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to school for music production. That's gonna be cool. Applied to Millersville University applied as a music major, saw all the requirements that they needed. I was like, oh, I'm not that good at music. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, all right, I like art too. I took art in high school. I was like, all right, I'll do that. I'll apply as like be graphic designer. Sure. Because like you need to go to college or whatever. So I did that.
I knew you were gonna. That was okay. I got you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna delve into that, but
yeah, we won't go there. But I majored in art, and I was like, okay, I could still do music stuff. I could do artwork for bands. So I did that for a really long time. That's really like how I got involved with a lot of the people that we're mutual friends with. Yeah. Doing artwork for people. And like this group of friends, like me, Jeff, Evan, our other roommate Greg, who I don't know if you've met or not, we were all in the same hallway freshman year, and we had like this huge group of people that just loved music and loved like doing things, and we really formed a strong group together in college, and we all had these big ideas to do stuff, so we put on shows. We were all playing in bands, and we started making like, I got a camera the one year, and I was like, oh, I have a camera. And it's like, all right, I know all this art stuff. I started learning like After Effects in one of my classes. I was like, oh, cool, I could do like video stuff now. So we would just mess around. I would, film our shows, put them on YouTube, make little short films and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, oh, I forgot I always wanted to do this thing. I always movies.
Put it on the back burner.
Yeah. So I was like, making some money doing artwork for bands and stuff like that. And I was just like trying to build my skill as like a videographer pretty much, doing some interviewee kind of things, shows and stuff like that. And it just kind of like snowballed into this thing. I was like, I'm going to do video. That's like what I'm going to do. Just taught myself, got some cool jobs at different places around the Lancaster area. Started my long addiction with buying gear. all my money in like cameras and lenses and lighting and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, this is something that I could actually make a living out of, you know. And I think the reason why I started with music is because like I started the story with music is because music has always been at the heart of like everything that I've wanted to do.
Sure, yeah.
I've always loved it, and it's just something that music has brought me many of the people that are in my life into my life, and you know, all the good people that I have a lot of memories with, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I was like, okay, I'm doing video now. I could make music videos. That's really cool. So I
Yeah.
started doing that, and then it just kind of snowballed into now I have my own video company, which is cool.
Yeah, no, I feel like I especially for like what I've seen so far has just been like a lot of like again a lot of our mutual friends' music videos and stuff like that, and they always come out like real crisp and stuff. And I know because like again I do all this videography stuff too, so like for me it's
Yeah.
like I was like gotta get Eric on to tell me all the skills, the tricks, all the tricks of the trade because he's got some crisp video and stuff. And it was just cool to kind of get your perspective because I obviously have known you from like the background of doing
Mhm.
music and bands and stuff like that, but I didn't know how much of a like you're like, oh well, I'm so into making like the music videos and like the videography aspect of it,
Mhm.
and I thought that was really cool. And I almost was like, after like the moral support thing happened, I was like, I bet you he's gonna do like some video thing. Like I just have this feeling that something's gonna happen, then you wind up doing it. But I guess like what are some of the like you said you bought a lot of like a lot of photography gear. So like
Yeah.
what are some of the stuff that you use that people like if you were to start out like if I was like a brand new videographer, like I wanted to start either
Mhm.
my own company or I wanted to start shooting music videos for like my band
Yeah.
or whatever, like what would you recommend to people kind of starting out like getting into this?
Yeah. See, that's a tough question because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are trying to tell you what this is what you need to, start making videos.
Like
Like,
kind of like guidelines, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I feel
yeah,
like you don't have to follow them to a T,
yeah.
but
It's
close.
I think just it depends. The way I kind of plan it out, if I'm getting when I'm getting gear, like the first camera I got was just a Christmas present. It was Canon T5i.
Hmm.
Um, and like I didn't know what kind of stuff I wanted to be making really. Like there's a weird relationship between the person making things and the gear that they use. I kind of like there's certain like I have certain lenses that I'll use for one thing and not the other because like each thing kind of has its own thing. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. I
kind
got you.
of hooey kind of stuff. Um, I mean, if you're just starting out, get a decent camera that you could afford. You know, do your research. Look at the thing I noticed too about like different cameras and brands of cameras. Each one kind of has its own look. You just watch videos. See do you like the way the GH4 looks? Do you like the way the Canon 5D Mark IV looks? Like each one has its own kind of feel to it. So look at it and see what kind of thing you resonate more with. Go down that way. Get it. If you like the way Canon looks, I love the way Canon looks. So I had a cheap Canon to start out. And I was like, all right, I really like this. So I started upgrading a little bit more. I got a C100 at one point because I was like, I wanted to take my work to that next level.
Yeah, yeah.
Get a cinema camera that could do more things, that could handle bigger productions. So yeah, I mean, back to back to your question. If you're starting out, get a good camera that you can afford. Get a good tripod because you're going to need that more than anything else.
Yeah.
Anybody could go out and get a gimbal first thing, but it's like, if you can't handle like doing good shots on a tripod, a gimbal's not going to help you too much. And get some good lighting. Like there's cheap LED lights on Amazon. A lot of the first 3 years of me doing video stuff, I was working with really cheap equipment that I got off Amazon, and just doing the best that I could with it. And I think that's something that's stuck through my work ever since. Doing the best and the coolest with what you got. And I think,
Yeah, you
especially
want
with
to.
music videos, working with bands, a lot of bands don't have a lot of resources to do these crazy things, but you still
Yeah.
want to make something really awesome for them. So you got to kind of like figure out how you're going to make something awesome with the restrictions in place. You know?
Yeah, you gotta make do with whatever you've got. Like you're gonna
Mhm.
take the best of what you have and try to use it. Like I remember when I was first starting out and people were like, "Oh, what do you use?" And I don't know if I don't think I have it with me, but I had a Sony RX 100 Mark
Mhm.
II because I don't know why, but I've always loved Sony, so I decided to stick with Sony. And so I had that little like like handheld like pocket sized camera, and I used to
Yeah.
use that for like probably the first like second year of audio addiction, and then I kind of jumped over because shout out to my friend Nathan. He gave me a slick deal on a
Mm.
Sony A7S, and
Nice.
I love I've that's the camera that I use now currently.
Yeah.
And I've bought two different lenses just in case, depending upon like what show I go to. Like if I'm further away, I have a 55,
Mm.
and if I'm closer, I have a 24. So
Yeah.
like I can get that wide pan shot. So I think it's like you said, it's like whatever you can afford to
Yeah.
get, you should try to get. I mean, obviously, do your research
Mm.
because I feel like a lot of people just go into it and they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick this camera. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and they don't do it. You know what I mean? They don't do the research, and I think that kind of you might find something you enjoy more so if you like really look for it and you're like, oh man, like I want to do this, or what's going to make my life easier down the line, like when I
Mhm.
go to edit it later
Yeah.
on, because most times you're going to have to. So the less amount of editing you're sitting in your chair doing this is much better.
Yeah. I think the biggest like tip for someone starting out, this is what worked for me. I didn't start out video straight ahead. I got the camera and I was like,
Ooh,
okay, I'm gonna take photos.
that's a
And
good move.
I learned like how to take photos, how to compose photographs, like how to handle exposure and like how things worked within a camera that way. And it's a lot less overwhelming to start with the photo aspect of it. So I think that would probably be like the biggest bit of advice that I could give to someone who wants to start doing video. Start with photo, and then because like video has its own little things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like all right, you do that. It's like it has its own stuff that goes on with it. With photography, it's like you kind of have a little bit more freedom right out the gate. You kind of just try stuff and be like, oh, that looks good. Um,
Yeah, or you could also just like shoot photos at a show. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That doesn't
that's how I
necessarily
started.
lock you into doing one thing. Like
Mhm.
I've seen so many of my friends that shoot videos at shows, but also like take photos at shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That offers you the liberty of trying different things and seeing what works and what doesn't, and if your
yeah,
camera can do it or not. Like I've realized I went outside the other day, which again, if you're watching this post quarantine, then
yeah,
people will be like, what do you mean you can go outside? But I went outside and I like took my photo out, my camera out to like a local park, and I was just taking photos with it because I just felt like, oh, why not? It's fun,
yeah,
something to do, and it also gives me the opportunity to kind of like figure out stuff, like see
yeah.
what lighting works, how can I do this, and then like when I throw it into, post, either Lightroom or whatever it
Mhm.
may be, then I'm like, okay, how can I edit this to make it like pop more, like do something? And I think that takes a lot of skill too. So you gotta like
Yeah,
work on it. You gotta make the mistakes, and maybe they're not mistakes. It's just like something that you can learn from. You're like, oh shit, maybe I could use this like later on in another video or another photo or something like that.
exactly, man. Yeah, everything's a learning experience. Everything that happens in your life is a learning experience.
There, oh,
That'll help you
100,
somewhere down
oh,
the road.
100%. I don't think that
Yeah,
doesn't even apply to this particular
that's
topic, but
that's
just in
everything.
general, as everything.
Yeah,
But obviously, like I said, we've mentioned we've worked with a lot of bands like mutually that we
yeah.
know. So when a band comes to you and is like, Eric, I want you to do the music video for us. Like, what do you expect from certain clients that like when you have them come to you and you're like, Eric, do you want us to we want you to do music video? Like, what do you want from them? Do you want like some sort of like storyline, or do you guys want like more of a collaborative effort where you guys kind of come together? Just give me your thoughts on that, because I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating when you're like, when bands come together. At least I don't know, because I've never been in a band before, so I'm just speaking
Yeah,
out my ass a little bit, but I feel like it can be a little bit daunting if you don't know what you're doing per se.
true. And you do get that sometimes. Like there's people that just it's such an alien process to them that it's like they don't even know where to start like working on
Sure.
something like that. Easiest thing for me to work with a band. I one thing I hate with any client is when they come up and they just say, do whatever you want, because I hate
Yeah,
that,
me too.
because that just means they don't know what they want and they're just gonna
Just
say
go with
yes
whatever you
to
want. Yeah.
something, They always have changes, no matter what. But either that or they know what they want and they don't know how to explain it, and they're just going to wait for you to figure it out. I like, for video specifically, I like when bands come to me with like a certain mood or vibe of the song. Like if they know what the heart of the song is, that helps me more than coming with a full storyline. Because then we could kind of like, a lot of bands want to see something, and in their head it's cool, but sometimes it doesn't always work logistically with the way the shoot's going to go, or sometimes it just doesn't match to the song really. What I think what works well is when it's like a good collaborative back and forth, where it's like, you know, they have either like a basic premise or just like, this is what the song's about, this is what the heart of the song is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could kind of like bounce back and forth from there. Like, I did a video for the band Evergo recently. It came out a few weeks ago. Maybe, honestly, I don't even know if it was a few weeks ago. Probably 2 years ago at this point. But you know, they came to me and they had, you know, we went through the lyrics, and we kind of figured out like what is the message of the song? What is like the word or the emotion or the phrase that like stands out for what this song is about? We figured that out, and then I'd listen to it, and you get some images in your head of like, what is this? What does this song like make you see?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So for that one, it was an old car. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to have this be like an old car at night. And we kind of put those two things together, like the song being about a girl that's kind of like breaking out of like these judgments and like this pressure from other people and being her own person.
Mm-hmm.
And we put that in this idea of an old car together, and it's like, all right, we're going to have a girl like in this weird abstract mental place that she's escaping to at the very end, you know? And it turned out really, really awesome. And it's just cool, like going back and forth with people like that and thinking of colors and visuals. Yeah. And sometimes bands come up with like full storylines. A lot of the midfield videos, they're very creative in the sense of like they know what they want to see. So, and all the videos I've done for them, I think I've done 3 for them now: False Start, Deferred, and Every Little Thing. And they always have like, all right, the deferred one. It's like, all right, we want to be an office. We have all these characters, and this is what we want to do. And while that's a little bit tougher to try and squeeze a full fleshed out story into a very short amount of time and still have it make sense, like those are the times when it's like the challenge makes it exciting, you know? So we work together on that, and it's like, okay, here's what we could do. They have a douchebag boss, you know? That's like the premise of it, and they're all sick of it. And the new guy's there. Like Matt played the new guy at the office, and he was like trying to fit in while the other guys were being all goofy and stuff. So, you know, they had this idea of, we want to work in an office, and here's our characters, and Dave Lazowski's gonna play the boss that he likes, and Matt's the new guy, and it's like we, you know, figured out a story that way. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I hate when people come to me with nothing.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end, the way I see it, video is a way for me to express myself creatively, but at the same time, I'm providing a service for somebody. I'm not giving them what I want to give them. I'm giving them what they want me to give them.
Yes.
You know, that's kind of like the weird thing you have to figure out. It's something that you're going to be satisfied with, and that you know the client's going to be satisfied with. So when someone comes to me and says, make whatever you want, I don't like that as much, because I know they don't like it as much. I want to use my creativity to provide something to someone that they're in love with, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's just like, you know, a smart way to go about it. Like, if you're in a band or something, and I know I'm using this more in a reference of a musical aspect, but like, I feel like when you're in a band, you want a fan to kind of envision how you want the band to be. Like, if I'm watching a music video, I watch the midfield music videos and stuff like that. I'm just like, they're just a bunch of fun guys, like having like a good time. You know what I mean? They make great music, but also like the video emulates who they are as individuals, which are all like, hey, we're just fun dudes, we're just making like, you know, some pop punk music, and we're just like having a good time, but also like poking fun at each other and all that stuff. And I think that comes across super well in a music video. And also I think, it also, relies a lot on what you do too, just because it's like, oh my God, like if he didn't do this, then like, the music video might not have come out the way that it is. And I think that's with any sort of like, production agency, if it doesn't kind of, again, fit the mode of what's going on, then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
come out as good, and it's a little bit frustrating. So when you said like, yeah, like I feel like if somebody comes to me and they don't have a vision, it's like I get that, because sometimes I'll get that about like some people like coming on to do stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
and sometimes it gets me in that headspace, and then I have to try to work around it. It might be a little bit easier on my end because I'm just like, I'll just do YouTube and I do interviews and stuff. So it's like, what else am I gonna like do? You know what I mean? But I feel like for you, it might be a little bit more of a process. So I guess, what was one situation that you felt like, and you don't even have to name the band, but like, what was one situation that you felt like you're like, oh man, this is really tough, and I had to kind of work my way out of it to get it to where it is, and then you felt like the end result came out, as good as it could be given the situation?
Oh, I need to think about that one a second. Well, there was all right. Well, there was one video, actually the first music video I ever did. Put a lot of work and a lot of time into it,
Oh, okay.
and it wasn't the band's fault. It wasn't the band's fault that it didn't turn out right. There was someone else that was helping out on the shoot, and maybe I shouldn't even say this. I don't know, but
We'll cut it out if you don't want to say it.
we'll see. The thing that anybody in any field has to remember is that a good attitude goes a long way, and it'll so
I already know. You don't have to tell me. I know.
Yeah.
I know the same old song and dance. I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before. I'll let you.
Yeah.
We'll end it at that. I know.
All
I know
right.
how it is. But
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, like it's. I feel like and I love having videographers on, because I know how much of a struggle it is sometimes to like. I don't even want to say chorus, because that sounds like a terrible way of wording it. But I feel like it's hard to always get out something, when like you have a certain vision for a band, or the band has a certain vision of what the music video is going to go like.
Yeah.
Like I could imagine obviously there would be some tension in that, but I feel like when a band and a person that does the videography kind of find like a happy middle ground, to me that is when like a music video and like a song kind of speaks to me more, because then I'm like, is the storyline of the music video kind of following what type of emotional appeal you want to get from the video? Like when you're listening to this song, you want to make sure that the visual aspect of it either like, pulls at you a little bit, or like, either makes you feel like, oh my God, this is hilarious, I love this is great,
Yeah.
this is so funny. But I feel like if a music video doesn't have you in some sort of emotional like thing, it might not be as, I guess, driven per se.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, music's all about emotion at the end of the day. It's a translation of someone's emotion to a means that someone else could understand. So if music video doesn't accomplish that, then you're not doing your job.
Oh,
Like
100%.
you can make stuff look as cool as you want. You could put all the lens flares you want in it. You could do slow-mo and strobes and flashy stuff. But if like the emotion's not there, and if the emotion's not there in the song, then you're screwed from the start. If you're just doing stuff to be flashy and like follow trends and what you think you should be doing instead of what you feel that you should be doing for this, then you're not doing your job right. It's got to convey a message. It's got to convey meaning. The band you're working with, they put themselves into their music. They put their emotion, their experiences into the song that they made and put time into, and they have a connection with that. You have to respect that as a video person. You're helping add another level to someone else's life experience. So it's super important to make sure that those emotions come through.
There we go. Well, the next thing, Eric, kind of to tag along to that, what would be one song / music video that you feel like encapsulates like the music video aspect of the song, like one that you feel like evokes the song well, even if it may not be your own work? Just like what song and music video do you think pair super well together?
First one that comes to my head, honestly, is Less I Know the Better, Tame Impala. That music video is amazing. It looks the way that music sounds, and no one sounds like Tame Impala, and you know what I mean? It's like that video to me is like perfect. I think Paramore Decode is another, even though it's for Twilight, but that video captures the vibe of that song so well. And it's like it's easy because they have like, you know, a movie reference to like movie 2 reference for it. But man, yeah, I find myself connected a lot to like 90s music videos, like mid 90s to late 90s, like a lot of the Metallica Load Reload era music videos. Those are things that I always like really connect with, because it was a weird time between technology switches, you know, like kind of like tape and film, and people were still in between going to digital and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of those videos from that time really capture the way that time was, you know, just the way the colors are, the way the film looks, the techniques that they use for things. People were really experimenting with a lot, kind of like the way movies were when, you know, in the 20s. You know, you look at I forget even the film name, but it was a film from like the 1910s. It was called like The Phantom Train or something like that. Cameras just came out. Some dude was like, you know what, I'm gonna put a camera on this train, and everybody was like, whoa, what's going on? It's just like I feel like the 90s are kind of in that same like turnover point of film and cinema technology and how it influenced the creativity. And maybe I'm talking out my ass. I don't know. Maybe
no. I think it's cool because like you think about it from that aspect of like I always think what's really cool is some bands that do that kind of like retro like style video like currently, like where they'll take like an old like camcorder or something like that, and they'll record the music video, and then they'll somehow like transfer that video onto like an actual camera and then put it onto a computer, which again sounds like in my head way too much work to do something like that, but sometimes it comes out super cool, and then I'm like, you know, maybe it might be actually worth the effort after all. But yeah, no, I get that because obviously I'm a 90s kid too, so like I know that transition of like, hey, remember we have like digital cameras now, but they're not great, but like we still got them.
Thousands of dollars.
And they cost thousands of dollars, and then they're like making these like videos, and everybody's like, oh my god, 480p, that's so good. And then now we're up to like 8K now, which is like insane. So
I think one person that I need to give a shout out to, because I respect his work to no end, is Eric Easterday. You know, does work for Burials and Kubla Khan and I forget who else. I mean, he works with all the bands. He's insane. But when I think of like VHS style stuff nowadays, it almost seems trendy. You know, everybody's like has like the VHS apps on their phone and stuff.
Yeah.
But when he does it, man, everything he does is so authentic to that style. And it's like almost, I feel like his work is kind of bringing that resurgence of that aesthetic.
Oh, 100%.
Like the way he puts stuff together, man. He's like so ingrained in what the time I'm talking about was, like the stuff that was really inspirational to me. He's just like so in it, and he does it so well. And I respect the hell out of him. And he was funny story. He actually filmed a music video for Moral Sport that never got released because the band ended before we could.
Yeah, I know. Jeff dropped a little secret about a song that may or may not have been, you know, may or may not be released. But you know,
we'll see. Hopefully,
if you want to slide that shit in a DM, you know.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That song's so good. Because I love that song, and I just want to have it on Spotify so I can listen to it.
I just want to have it in general. So Tyler or anybody that has the song, just send it to me. I mean, you can send it to other people, but send it to me first. I want it. You know.
I think a couple people got like a demo of it in some giveaway that we did or something. I forget who it was, but.
Oh man! I know it's floating on the internet somewhere.
Around there somewhere.
It's gonna happen. But the next thing, Eric, what would be one band you would want to work with, like a dream band? I would feel like one you should pick that's local, because obviously I feel like we're all about the local support here. So pick one band that you'd love to do one locally, and one band that you just be like, it would be my dream to like shoot a music video for them.
Band I would like to work with locally. I've talked to them a little bit about it, but Jeff's recording this band Trails, who's like super progressive, technical metal kind of stuff, and I've never shot a metal band before.
Oh really? Oh
yeah,
wow.
It's all been like pop punk or like hip hop solo artists.
Very interesting.
Singer songwriters. Yeah, I've never
time to break into the metal market, Eric.
And like, there's this one song that they have, and I could kind of see how I want to do it. So, Trails, Sam Hart, Chris, someone message me. Let's talk about this. Quarantine's done. Jeff's killing those mixes, by the way, dude. He's been Yeah,
Just
every time
sick.
I hear him working on it, I'm like, oh, dude, this is so good. Um, but the big band, dream band, who would it be? That's so tough. Because I feel like a lot of the bands that I like their videos anyway, and I don't know if I could do it better, and I wouldn't want to change it.
Hey
Um,
man, they
I
gotta
would
do
like,
it.
yeah, I would like to do a video for Alt J, like
Ooh,
an awesome wave era, not anything else. I would love to do a video for like one of those songs. Because that album is so good. That, or if Minus the Bear would ever get back together, I would love to do a music video for them. That'd be so cool.
oh yeah, I forgot they broke up. Oh
Yeah, dude,
shit.
I saw them at the Electric Factory on their last tour, and
Oh,
it was a night, man. They
I know
played
you.
every song I wanted them to. I was like, they better play these, and they heard me.
They heard your prayers. They
Yeah,
knew. They were like Eric. They were like, this one goes out to Eric, my guy, out in the
damn it,
crowd.
yeah.
Got you. You got you with the set list.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'd be down to see some Alt J or some Minus Bear if you want to resurface. That'd be sick.
Something weird, man. Like I love doing weird stuff. I just love. I always want to put weirdness into the things that I make because just like the stuff that I'm into, you know. And I feel like those bands, they would be down with some weirdness, you
Oh,
know.
100%. I
Like,
feel like you've got some real I mean, like I said, I've watched a lot of your music videos, so I can see that some of it's a little reserved just cuz you're like
yeah,
obviously you want to keep to what the band does, but
yeah,
I'd love to see you just go buck wild and do like
yeah.
an insane music video.
The video that XOF just released that we did for Shadow, that was like the most free experience because, like, I mean, me and Mitch, we hang out a bunch. He's always over this house and hanging out with us. And like, I think I understand like what he's. I think I do. I hope I do. Like, just kind of like what he's about. And I tried to like.
Emulate that.
It's a lot of like similar stuff to what I'm into, and I'm like, all right, this is like we had this. It was an idea that Mike Kepko actually came up with. He's like, dude, what if you did surgery on yourself in the video? And we were just like, can we do that? And I was like, I could totally do that. Let's do it. And I was like, all right, yeah, I could do this kind of like grungy Resident Evil video game style thing and make it weird. Let's do it. So that was a really like free experience for me to kind of just be creative and do whatever. And I love the way it turned out. It was like that was one of the first. I wouldn't say one of the first, but probably the video when I look at it and I think about how I envisioned it, it's like almost exact, you know.
Do you
And
feel like a lot of your stuff kind of, I don't want to say differs from like what you envision, but do you feel like
100%.
some of the stuff that you do, you kind of, I guess, like compromise because you're like, oh, I don't want the band to just be like, this is all 100% my vision, like
No, and it's not even compromise because of what the band would think. It's just like compromise because of time or
Sure, yeah.
budget or how much people we have working on the thing or like what kind of gear I have. Like I feel like my everything I want to do is always outside of what I'm able to, which I guess is just something that people do all the time.
It could be.
Yeah.
That might be a first for me. I don't know if I, but
Dream
so,
big, you know? Dream big.
oh,
You can't do.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's like the kind of thing that I have to compromise on a lot. And it's like with that one, everything just kind of fell into place really perfectly. And I was like, oh, it was just something that I felt really needed that extra time put into it. So we did it.
There we go. And Mike, if you want to come on, because I already know Jeff gave me a shout out about Mike.
Yeah.
So Mike, we're 2 for 2 guys. So you want to come on? You should do it.
Yeah.
But the next thing, Eric, obviously we've mentioned a little bit about like people in terms of bands that you want to work with, but if there would be one person you would want to collaborate with in terms of like a producer or like somebody else that like is behind the scenes, much like yourself, that does like, videography or like photography or something like that, who would you want to work with in like tandem?
I need to look up his name actually. I think it's Chris McKinney. He's a photographer and I think he's from Pennsylvania. But he does these like crazy surreal like horror photographs that I'm completely in love with. And I think it's at McAllister on Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm looking this up like right now. But I'm pretty sure his name is Chris McKinney. It's McAllister, McCallister on Instagram, and his stuff's incredible. Like if you see it, you'll know it because it's like always these ghostly bodies and sheets that are just in the middle of the woods, and like he like cuts out, like he photoshops out like the limbs and stuff, and dude, his stuff is so cool and just like bleak and dark, and that's the stuff that I think is the sickest. So it'd be really cool to like collaborate with him on something where, you know, maybe like he'll stage the stuff and do the set design or whatever, and like do the art direction, and then I film it. I don't know. That would be like my dream, and I've thought about that. I've actually thought about that a lot recently.
There we go. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Making the dreams come alive. Yeah.
And I'll look up what his thing is exactly and let you know, because I'm an idiot.
Post Brandon will be on the case. So
Fix it in post, bud.
Fix it in post. That's what we always do. But the next question, Eric, because you weren't a part of the Moral Sport interview that I did, so I always love asking some band questions. The first one would be, who are you currently jamming? What's on your Spotify? What have you been listening to lately while you're like either editing or enjoying, you know, life?
Every day I listen to Minus the Bear.
Every day.
It's
like the daily cup of coffee. You know, you gotta pour a fresh cup of Minus the Bear.
100%. Yeah, I've listened to them. I got into them probably 5-6 years ago, and I just have not put their albums down since. Them, I listen to. I don't even know who I listen. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to the Congratulations podcast, Chris D'Elia, all the time.
Chris D'Elia's the best.
Yeah, I put on Joe Rogan if I'm working. Yo, shout out to Chris D'Elia. He liked my tweet once, and I screenshot it and saved it on my phone for a very long time.
Fair. I would probably do the same thing. You know.
I jam Burials a lot because I love Burials, obviously. I don't even know who else, man. It's just like it's always. I have this like prog playlist, so it's like Carnival.
Oof.
Yes.
Oof.
Rush.
Oof.
And a bunch of other like just proggy weird bands. You know, Tool. I listen to them all the time.
There you go.
Yeah, but the heavy rotation is usually Minus the Bear and Carnival. And actually, I just pulled up my Spotify because I'm a loser like that. I just got into Glass Animals recently, so I'm listening to them a lot, and they just put some new songs out that are sick as hell. My girlfriend actually got me into Glass Animals, and I think they're sick as shit. They're so cool. It's just weird stuff. I love weird stuff, man. No matter what it is, music, movies, maybe books.
I'm trying to think if I have any good like proggy metalcore bands that I could link you that I could think of off the top of my head.
Oh, Idols, IDLES. They're from the UK. They're punk. They're angry, but they love everyone and everything. They're so cool. Joy is an Act of Resistance. That album. That's actually like probably the newest thing that I've been listening to. That came out. Whatever.
I'm trying to think if I've got some good ones. I love what I've been jamming a lot recently. Or I can give you some prog metalcore bands because I feel like you could vibe with them. Void of Vision, they're very cool. They're out of Australia. They kind of remind me of like if North Lane was really stupid heavy, and then they had like techno beats on top of it. So it's kind of tight. Like they have this like one interlude track that's like definitely like it sounds like a club banger, but and then it kind of transfers into like the next song that they do. Super tight. Hyper Days, for people who watch this, check it out. That's their newest record. It's awesome. The other band that I recommend, also from Australia, is Thornhill. I think it is called The Dark Pool is awesome. They're another great. Again, Australia's killing it with the metalcore, progressive metalcore scene. I don't know what they do. Something's in the water. I don't know, but they got this prog shit unlocked. So those are the two prog metalcore bands that I can recommend. And then there's an oldie but goodie that may or may not be coming back, which I saw a post and I almost peed my pants because they're a band that I love and I'm glad they're back. So if you guys watch this, Forevermore. If you watch this, I think they're from the Midwest, I'm pretty sure. But if you guys watch this, please, I'd love to have you on. I would probably cry because you guys are awesome. So, shout outs to Forevermore. Hit 'em up, Forevermore. And so those would be my suggestions to you, Eric. But
awesome.
The next question is kind of again relating to the band stuff. If you were to compile Eric's dream tour lineup, who would be on it?
Oh boy, probably be Rush, Tool, Carnival, and then maybe like the Antwoord opening or something. I don't know, something weird.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I saw Rush 2010 Time Machine tour, and obviously rest in peace Neil Peart. I've cried every day since. Obviously, it's just like it sucks that I'm never gonna get to see them again, But
Like
it is what
that,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I got
But
to
you got
see
to
them.
see them, yeah.
Yeah, so and it was amazing. Me and my dad went. It was like one of the best shows I've ever been to.
How long did they play for, if you don't mind me
Dude, it
asking?
was like 3.5 hours. Might not have been that long. It was
It felt
over
like
3
that. Yeah, it
hours.
felt like that.
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. Oh my God, they're so goddamn good. Yeah, Rush, Headline, Tool, Carnival, the Antwoord, just because. Why
There we
not?
go. That is the interesting lineup. I would definitely on board with that. And then what are some of the stuff that you use currently? What's your current rig? What are you
Oh,
rocking with now?
all right, my current rig, I have the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Woo. Got that, and I have usually put Canon glass on it, Canon 24-105L, whatever it is. I have a 28 prime and a 50 prime. I also got some vintage lenses recently that I've been messing around with, which are cool. Got the Helios 44 all the way from I forget where in Russia it came from. I think it was like St. Petersburg or something. That thing is sick. It was so cool. If anybody's like, you see YouTube videos about this stuff all the time, and like I was like, vintage lenses, whatever. They ain't kidding, man. eBay, there's the prices are starting to go up a little bit more because people are catching on that they're popular,
They're
but you can
good, yeah.
still find a lot of like really cool cheap lenses on eBay. Go to your local thrift store, pick up some cool old glass, mess around with it. It honestly, you wouldn't think a lens affects thing. Like obviously you would think a lens affects things. It's like it's like I don't know, man. It's just got such a different vibe to it. It's so
Like
cool.
it's like eating vanilla ice cream and you don't put anything on it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah.
once you get that vintage lens. Like
That's the
I've never touched it, but it's like
yeah.
putting chocolate sauce on your
That's the hot
vanilla ice cream.
fudge.
It's the
The
hot
hot
fudge.
fudge with marshmallow swirl, man.
Woo,
So yeah,
you're
I got
right.
that, and I got a couple other, cool lenses. Like one's from Korea. It's like a 35 millimeter. I have a 25 millimeter that's also from Russia. An Industar 69, I think. That one's pretty cool. Used those on the Evergo video actually. So if you watch the Evergo video, the
Which you
performances,
should.
yeah, film them on some vintage lenses. It makes some nice halos around the lights. You get some cool lens flares that you can't really get any other way, which is sick. I love doing stuff in camera. Anything that's like me shooting this caused it to look this way, not me manipulating it caused it to look this way. I love that stuff. I think it's cool. I love the process of things. I was an art major. I like the process of beauty in it. But yeah, that's what I'm running with now. Hopefully, things get back to normal anytime soon. I get back to work. I'll get a Blackmagic 6K on my arsenal.
Oh man,
Fingers crossed with that.
we keep going up with you. I'm like
Yeah.
A7S baby, continue that all the way. I'll rock that shit till I die. But the next thing would be Eric. I have a question about like the whole editing process when you're sitting down editing. I guess what are some of the software that you use to edit your music videos or any sort of videos that you do, and then have you come up with any sort of like tips on like people using said software? Like, if you use Premiere, because I used to use Premiere early on, and then now I'm switched over to DaVinci Resolve. So
My
now
man.
that's that
DaVinci
good
Crew,
stuff.
dog.
The
Yeah.
DaVinci Crew, you know what I mean? I didn't buy it, so I did.
Yeah.
I should buy it, but
I-
if not, you could just use a base.
Yeah. From what I understand, the free version and like the full version aren't that much different.
They
Like
aren't.
you're missing like a little bit of audio stuff and a little bit of like fusion VFX stuff, and that's about it. DaVinci's I love Blackmagic. I was before the 4K came out, I was Canon till I die, and then I was looking at camera prices to get a new camera. I was like, oh, Canon, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Canon, come on.
they're like, here you go.
Yeah.
You got money, right? You can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then, like Blackmagic, I was like, oh my God, it's so cheap. It looks so good. This is incredible. And then I was looking into DaVinci, and people were like, you need to stop using DaVinci, or stop using Premiere and start using DaVinci.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, yeah. And then I used it, and I was like, I've been using it for 20 minutes, and it hasn't crashed on me. This is sick. Get out of here, Premiere. I use DaVinci for everything. I think it's incredible. I think Blackmagic is an amazing company. I do a lot of After Effects stuff still,
Same.
but thankfully, with I feel like there isn't as much of a direct workflow, obviously, between DaVinci and After Effects, but it's the way DaVinci works. They make it easy
Yeah.
to
Oh, 100%.
edit stuff and then put it into After
Drag it
Effects.
over. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as tips go, I mean, I really don't know.
Do you have any like? I guess do you have any? Because like I remember when I was starting out to edit, I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos. Like people like
Yeah.
I used to watch Peter. I still watch Peter McKinnon. I
Yeah.
used to watch a lot of people that just like know how to do their stuff well. So is there any sort of like YouTube channel or like YouTube kind of thing where you could recommend to people? Be like, yo, check this out. Maybe this will help you. Minimize your editing time or like be more efficient with your time when you're sitting here at a computer desk.
Actually, I have a couple YouTube channels and I have a tip. If you're doing music videos specifically, DaVinci has a shortcut for it and Premiere has a shortcut for it. If you're doing music videos, you could either do a multicam edit sequence, which depending on your computer might go really slow, but we all struggle with that. That's a really easy way to cut together a music video quickly. If not, best thing you can do, this is like, I learned this from an old boss. He learned it from a guy that he worked with in LA for a little while. I think it's the guy that does like Machine Gun Kelly's music videos now, or something like that. You get your timeline, right? You have your song in there. You have all your tracks synced up, right? You hit play. In DaVinci, I think it's Command B. That's like it cuts all the way through every clip that you have on the timeline wherever the playhead is. In Premiere, I think it's like Command C or Shift C, whatever the cut thing is. It just cuts all the way through everything. You listen to the song, you hold down Command, you hit the other button to the beat, and you have a cut on every beat, and you can just go through and take out the clips that you don't want. It's so, dude, you go through, you can cut together a performance so quickly, and it's always like,
on point. It's on point. It's on time. It's on time. It's on time. Yeah.
I love it. So that's a cool tip for music videos specifically. YouTube channels. I do a little bit of animation in After Effects too. So I watch Ben Marriott on.
Oh yeah, Ben Marriott's good. Yeah,
he's incredible. He's such a fun guy to watch, and like he doesn't mess around in his tutorials at all. So if you're in animation at all, do that. Peter McKinnon's great. I like Kai W. He's great.
Kai W.
Indie Mogul is like one of my favorite channels of all time. They always have really cool professionals and people on to talk about films and like what they do and like kind of how their process works. And they just have a really like you learn a lot in it. They have it very basic, but it's still interesting and it's also really advanced. They just however they put their videos together, it's just I feel really full when I leave, and it's always fun. And they always have cool people on there that aren't like, they're real. They're real people. And I feel like they're
real like, men and women.
Yeah, they're not holograms or whatever. But yeah, they're just it's a good channel. Indie Mogul's great, and I watched them way back in the day when they were making make your dolly slider for $10 in your backyard, or here's how to make a severed head effect for $10 with stuff from your hardware store. They got a good mission statement.
Do whatever you want. Just do it. You should just do it yourself, DIY. Which I respect a lot because I know I do most of the stuff on here DIY. So I learned how to do all this stuff and like edit videos together, and like I didn't know any of this before I started doing this. Like I just like went in deep end. You know what I mean? I just tried to learn this. I like built my own computer, which is what I'm using now. So like, like I feel like I've did my time as Slipknot says. And I want out. So Corey Taylor, I'm sorry. If you want to come on and beat the shit out of me, you can do that.
He'll hit you with his neck.
Yeah, just his tree trunk of a neck. Dear Jesus. Anyway, to kind of segue out of Corey Taylor, because I don't want to piss that man off. That man he's probably nice. Shout out to Corey Taylor.
Whatever.
The last thing, Eric, is tell them about you, Patchtown Films, where they can find you on social media, and best ways for people to contact you. Because some people like the DMs, some people don't like the DMs, some people find it unprofessional, some people are just like I don't give a shit, So tell the people the best way to contact you, how to contact you, and things you got coming up, either pre, post, after, future tense, quarantine.
All right, I'll try my best. You could follow me personally at Wolfparm on Instagram. That's WOLF underscore PAHRM, Wolf Parm. That's me. But you should follow Patchtown Films on Instagram. That's probably where we're the most active. That is my company with my girlfriend, Casey, who without her, our business would fail. Definitely.
Shout outs to Casey.
Yeah, shout outs to Casey. She's the best. Yeah, Patchtown Films. Right now, we're working. We do music videos when they come to us. It's tough to find people that want to do music videos.
Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we do music videos. We do a lot of food content too. We work with food bloggers,
Excuse
make
me.
videos, and that stuff is so much fun to do.
But then it makes you super hungry, I'm sure.
Yeah,
You watch it and you're just like, oh my God, I wish I had that right now.
Yeah, but we always get to eat it after they're done. That's the best part. So yeah, we do food stuff. We do music videos. I make a lot of horror stuff with my little horror team here in Lancaster. We're working on. Last year we did a half live show, half film screening event in Lancaster that was sold out. We called it Horrorama Live. It was a lot of fun. That's me, Adam Lenhart, who's an amazing tattooer here in Lancaster, and also an amazing prop builder and puppet builder and stop motion animator. And
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's amazing. Such a good dude. And Jake McClellan, who is a actor, performer, character creator, and costume and makeup person. And we get together sometimes and make goofy horror stuff. And we're working on stuff right now that is hopefully going to be out this October. But we'll see how things go for that. So yeah, Patchtown Films, Wolf Parm. Better than Chicken Parm.
I don't know about that. That's a hard mountain to climb. And then what do you have, like an email address so people can reach out to you at, or should people just I don't know, people DM you or whatever?
Yeah, you could DM us, Patchtown Films. You could DM us. You can email me, Eric of Patchtownfilms.com. Probably better to email Casey at patchtownfilms.com. She's more on top of that stuff than me. I'm always locked in the basement till 4 a.m. editing, usually.
Let me out.
Yeah. Homing pigeon, carrier pigeon is a homing pigeon. That's a homing missile. Carrier pigeon works good too. Paper airplanes from wherever you are, send a note to me. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to get in contact.
Yeah, or you could
Elon Musk Neuralink maybe. Just upload it.
Yeah. Or you could be Elon Musk's whatever child. I don't even know what gender it is. It's not really a gender. It's just a robot baby.
I think it's silicone.
It's a robot baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, if it really truly ends by Elon Musk's kid, then I guess, we've truly lived life. So
yeah, he might be the one to save us. Who knows?
He
could be like John Connor
or something. It could be like iRobot or some shit.
Yeah.
Who knows? But go check out Eric and Patchtown Films. All of the links will be below. If you have a music video, because obviously we focus a lot on music. So if you'd like to have a music video done by him, obviously I don't feel like now, but if you want to, you could do it. You could do a quarantine music video. Who knows? Whatever. Get creative, yeah. Hit him up. Maybe you guys can come up with a brainstormed idea that would come out really sick. Eric's been a pretty big supporter of the channel, so I know I had to get him on to talk about what he does. So go support him. And if you enjoyed this interview, make sure to share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. I've been really enjoying all of these press interview sort of stuff, like behind the scenes stuff. So if you do work in the music industry more specifically and you'd like to come on, feel free to reach out to me, DM me, email me, whatever you see fit. And thanks of course to Eric of Patchtown Films for coming on tonight.
Thank you, man. This was fun. Thanks for having me. And support this guy. God damn it, all you people out there, support this man. He does good stuff. He's always doing things.
Always.
Show him love.
Always
give him a hug react on Facebook. What's wrong with you, animal?